All right, y'all. We are about at the halfway point. Actually, damn near. We're actually over the halfway point for the regular season. We're about like at the 43-44 game mark of the 2024 NBA season. And I wanted to do a video where I go over every single team's NBA season so far and grade them. We are definitely past small sample size territory. God, I hate that part of the NBA season, man, because I want to get these takes off, right? I'm seeing some of these changes, but we're only 10 games into the season, so stop overreacting. Ladies and gentlemen, that phase of the season is over, all right? For the most part, we know who's who. You know, we've definitely seen post-trade deadline turnarounds before, post-All-Star game turnarounds before, but we have a general understanding of who's who in the NBA, right? So I want to go through each conference and grade their season so far. Let's start off with the easy ones, the Detroit Pistons F. Detroit Pistons F. This is a team that actually had some sort of winning expectations going into the season. Again, nothing too crazy. You know, I don't think they expected to be a 4, 3, or let alone a 1 seed. But they just expected some sort of improvement from, a 17-win season. And as of right now, I'm going to be surprised. Once they win their 10th game, like for real. So the Detroit Pistons, I'm going to give them an F. The Washington Wizards, I'm going to give them a F as well. Again, the difference between the Wizards and the Pistons is I don't think the Wizards had any expectations going into the season. But even with their blow-up last season of Bradley Beal and Kristaps Porzingis, I still think they had a little bit higher expectations than what they've seen so far. Jordan Poole, Jesus Christ, one of the most disappointing players in the league, in my opinion. I really thought he was going to be the next James Harden in terms of, the bench player that, given the keys to a franchise, would really go off. But, boy, his numbers don't even look better than what they were last season. Outside of that, they got Bilal. Bilal is the only one that's been showing any sort of promise for this team. But everyone else is they don't have any young assets on this team, bro. Like Kuzma's 28. Jordan Poole's 24, but he's looking like a bust. Tyus Jones is 27. Then you have Deja's 23, but I've honestly given up on him. Daniel Gafford's 25. Corey Kisper's 24. Just a bad team. Just a bad team. Not too much to say on the Washington Wizards, right? The Charlotte Hornets, it's unfortunate because they had some sort of momentum early in the season, but the LaMelo injury really slowed them down. In terms of any momentum that they could have. Also, Mark Williams hasn't been fully healthy. He's played less games than LaMelo. This is a rebuilding team that, one of those teams that was just expecting a little bit more progress going into the season, but it looks like it's going to be another ass year in Charlotte. How many games did they win last season? They won 27 games last season. Right now, let me bring up their win percentage because it's not showing it on Basketball Reference right now. So they won 27 last season, and then this season, if NBA.com would like to cooperate, come on, bruh. NBA.com saying, oh, there you go. Right now, 23.8, so 82 times 0.238. They're on pace for 19 wins this season. So a regression from last season. Unfortunate. So I'm going to give the Charlotte Hornets I'm going to give them an F. Brandon Miller is looking nice, though. So, I don't know. All I'm saying is LaMelo. Next year's going to be 23. Next year's going to be 24, man. We're going to need to see some winning. Not that I'm putting that on LaMelo, but... boy, we're getting very close to the point where, you know, we look at the Hornets and say, yeah, they're just wasting LaMelo's years for no fucking reason. Let's take a break real quick from grading these team seasons so far. And I'm going to allow you to grade my picks on Prize Picks, the sponsor of this video, man. My personal favorite way to play daily fantasy sports, and I think it should be yours as well. All you got to do is sign up for an account on their app/website, and they got a bunch of different sports up top. But since we're NBA heads, we're going to stick to the NBA. They actually have a promo right now. What is this green goblin for? Demons and goblins. Demons are a little wild. They're harder to hit, but the entry qualifies for higher payouts, up to 100x. Goblins love the green. They're easier to win, but come with lower payout multipliers. They got a bunch of different stats you can pick from, but let's go ahead and keep it simple and go to points. Let's go big on this entry, man. Joel Embiid, 39.5. He is averaging 36 so far. Indiana is a relatively bad offensive team. I'm going to take the chance. I'm going to take the chance on this right here, bro. Something tells me Pascal Siakam is going to have a decent game today, so I'm going to go with the more on this as well. And because of this promo right now, there's actually a 6x multiplier, so I'm going to go ahead and put $10 right there with a chance to win 60. And thanks to our friends over at Prize Picks, if you guys use code SLZ, you guys can get up to $100 match on your first deposit. So if you put in $80, they'll give you $80. Now you got $160 to work with, up to $100. So you got up to $200 to work with them if you use code SLZ. Once again, shout out to Prize Picks for being the sponsor of this video. Links will be in the description. And we're back. You know, the Toronto Raptors, for the season, I'm going to give them like a D. I'm going to give them a D. But I actually do like the moves that the Raptors have made. Like I said, this is a team that needs to find their new young core for this next generation. And offloading the last bits of that 2019 team and Pascal Siakam and OG Anunoby, and finding an Emmanuel Quickly, finding an RJ Barrett to pair alongside Scotty Barnes and their new coach. I do think there's a new era in Toronto with the core that they have. So, yeah, I'm going to give them a D, but overall, in the grand scheme of things, I do like what they're doing. The Brooklyn Nets are 17-26. I'm gonna be honest. I thought they were gonna be a little bit better. I'm gonna be honest. I think they have much more talent on this team than meets the eye, or not even meets the eye, but on paper they have a decent amount of talent on this team. And I think with the talent that they have on this team, they should be better than the 10th seed. They should not be 8 games under 500. Now, understand Ben Simmons has barely played for them. Right. But for the players that have played, they have played enough. They have played enough. Nick Claxton hasn't been fully healthy. Cam Thomas hasn't been fully healthy. Cam Johnson hasn't been fully healthy. So again, there are certain players on this team that they might be having like consistency problems in terms of their rotations because of these injuries. So I'll give them a little bit of slack there. But even still, considering all of that, I still think they should be much better than, again, how many games under 500. This is pretty bad right here. This is pretty bad right here. So grading their season, I'm gonna give them a D. I'm gonna give them a D as well. I understand, again, Ben Simmons hasn't played for this team, but I also don't think Ben Simmons is so valuable to this team that he's the difference between them being the 11th seed and somewhere closer to where Orlando is right now, right? So moving on to Atlanta, I'm gonna give them a D as well. Pause. I had high hopes for Atlanta this season. I thought there was something there in the playoffs. Last season against the Celtics. Hell, even the Celtics said, yo, I ain't gonna lie, get them a full season under their belt. And they're a solid playoff team. Trae Young, shout out to Trae Young. A lot of people were on his penis the first half of the season. The first half of the season, excuse me. But definitely having one of his better seasons in the league. I understand the field goal percentage doesn't look too good, but trust me, he's been playing very well. They found a guy in Jalen Johnson. I do think that's a win. I do think that's a win for the Atlanta Hawks. But it just looks like we're finding out who's who. You know, the DeAndre Hunter experiment is not looking too good for them. Sadiq Bey He's supposed to be a shooter, and he's shooting 32% from the field. DeJounte Murray is not the co-star that Trae Young needs. Yeah, he's not. And let's see, Clint Capella, the time's up. I mean, I still think he's a solid center in the league, but you know, he's not really moving the needle for real. Onyeka Okongwu has barely progressed for them as well. I don't know. It looks like the Atlanta Hawks. For me, I'm still sticking to this take. They made moves that made sense on paper, and they made sense at that time. And sometimes you just roll the dice on certain things, and they don't go in your favor. You know, unfortunate situation in Atlanta, but yeah, I do think they need to move on from DeJounte Murray. I think him and Trae Young just don't pair well together. These are two guys that need the ball in their hands to be effective. DeJounte Murray not as much as Trae Young, but it's just not working out. It's just not working out. They need to find something else there, and reconstruct what it means to build around Trae Young. Because I don't think it's enough to blow it up to the point where you should trade Trae Young. They got a couple years left to try to make it work with him, but yeah, it's not looking too good. It's not looking too good in Atlanta, and it's looking like they're about to have a worse season than last season. So I'm gonna give them a D. Chicago, there's certain teams in the league that I truly don't care about, bro. Chicago is one of them. They're a NBA team. They are a NBA team. Right now they're the 9th seed. But what even is the expectations on this team? I don't fucking know. They're just an NBA team, right? I don't not enough to win right now, being led by DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine and Nikola Vucevic. In terms of their young assets, a decent amount of Bulls fans, from my understanding, they're starting to give up on Patrick Williams. Kobe White is the only light to their season. And, you know, Alex Caruso, hey, I've never seen so much Alex Caruso hype in my life, outside of his Laker years. But, again, Alex Caruso, I think would be much better on a different team. I would love to see Alex Caruso on a championship contender. But on the Chicago Bulls, I mean, he's cool for them, but that's all I can really say for Alex Caruso. It's a purgatory team, bro. This is a purgatory team in the league. So if I just had to rate it compared to these, technically they're having a better season than Atlanta or Brooklyn. But listen, trade deadline's coming up. If they come out the trade deadline with no trades, DeMar's still on this team, Zach LaVine's still on this team, Vucevic is still on this team, Alex Caruso's still on this team. If 2 out of those 4 guys do not get moved, I'm gonna be hella disappointed, and I don't give a fuck what the record is. If that's the case, their season's about to be a F for me. Their season's about to be a F. The Orlando Magic. Damn, they fell out of nowhere, right? I remember a good portion of this season. They were like a top 3 seed in the East. They were a top 3 seed in the East. Yeah, right around here. They even had like a calm little 8-game winning streak. But as of late, what is this? Over their last 1, 2, 3, this is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Out of their last 8 games, they are 2-6. And they've just been racking up these L's. I think the Orlando Magic, what they're seeing right now is the regression to the mean. What we were seeing earlier in the season was fluky. I'm going to just keep it a buck. I'm going to just keep it a mean. But Orlando right here is where they should be, in my opinion. I think, honestly, we'll go over to the West here in a second, but what Orlando is, I thought this is what OKC was going to be, right? I thought OKC, this was going to be the year where, all right, these young players, these young assets, they got to start winning. And it doesn't have to be first seed in the West or first seed in the conference type of winning, but they have to start winning. And I think the Orlando Magic, I'm going to give them a B. Even with this regression. I think this is the season where we look at the Magic and say, all right, y'all got to start winning to some degree. Okay, you cannot be down here again with the talent that you guys have. Start winning games. And that they have. So I'm going to give them a B. Again, they could be better. They should be better, even with what we've seen so far this season. I would love to see them creep closer towards back to the 5-6 range in the East. There should be a decent amount of games over 500 instead of just being 2 games above 500. But yeah, I'm gonna give them a B. Shout out to Paolo, shout out to France. I don't think Wendell's been healthy this season too, which is unfortunate because I do think he's a big part of their team. Markel hasn't been healthy as well. Yeah, they got a decent amount of players that hasn't been healthy that I think would provide them with a decent amount of help. But the progression that you would look for from this team, I think they have made, and they're still headed towards the right direction. I think this offseason, if they can offload some of these young assets to find a more established guard in the league, I think that would be great for them. Hey, I'm going to be honest. If they can pull off a DeJounte Murray, I think DeJounte Murray will fit perfect with this team. I think he's a decent enough on-ball playmaker. He can put the ball in the basket. He can space the floor. And listen, I think Atlanta made a mistake thinking that he's a lockdown defender that can carry your defense. But in tandem with Orlando's existing defense, I think Orlando would be a place where DeJounte could find his defensive identity again. So, yeah, I would love to see. And the Hawks are a team looking for younger assets. So, I'm going to be honest. If they have to offload Jalen Suggs, I would do it for DeJounte. If they don't have to, hey, that'd be better. But if they have to offload, like, Cole Anthony, and hell, even Markelle Fultz, if Atlanta wants to take a stab at Markelle, I would do it. But yeah, shout out to the Magic. The Indiana Pacers, I'm gonna give them a B as well. I definitely thought they would be closer to a play-in team this season. But Tyrese's progression, my goodness. They definitely found their franchise cornerstone in Tyrese. They just made a trade for Pascal Siakam. Now, they are 0-3 ever since they traded for Pascal, but I've learned with the Clippers trade, not too much. I'm not overreacting again like that. So, overall, though, still a good season for the Indiana Pacers, making strides in the right directions. They're starting to find their identity with Tyrese leading the helm, with Rick Carlisle there as a coach. And I'm definitely excited to see the future for Indiana basketball. They just got to start winning games. Because the expectations are rising with Tyrese's rise and them making the moves for Pascal Siakam. So, there you go. Miami. Right now, 24-20, 6 seed. I am going to give them a B. I'm going to give them a B. I think record-wise, they should be better. But in terms of the talent of this team and what they're capable of, they are better than what they were last season. And that is a team last season that was good enough to make it to the finals. They beat the Bucks, they beat the Celtics, and they beat the Knicks on their way to the finals. And looking at these matchups, I don't see why they can't, literally, if they go into a series, it's going to be competitive at the very least. And I think they can beat any team in the East. Yeah. Now, I'm going to go that far, man. I think they can beat any team in the East. Yeah. Because I was about to say, aside from Boston, but we know what time it is when it comes to Miami and Boston. Like for real. I know. If y'all don't, I know. And even that, we know we know that rivalry, but I don't think we talk about the Milwaukee rivalry enough between Milwaukee and Miami, man. Because when Miami, they might not be as competitive as the Boston series, but the last 2 times Miami beat Milwaukee, it was 5-game series, bro. Like, god damn. But yeah, I think Miami is better compared to what they were last season. A lot of people made a big fuss about losing Gabe Vincent and Max Strus, but in actuality, people didn't consider that one Tyler Hero is going to be fully healthy this season. Motherfuckers were so ready to give up on Tyler Hero, but the truth is, while he's not going to be a Devin Booker type of player in this league, he's still one of the better guards of this league. And for Miami specifically, gives them a scoring punch. So, yeah, not too much on Tyler Hero. On top of that, Duncan Robinson is having a resurgent season. And is definitely filling that Max Strus role. Unless I'm missing the picture with Max Strus and how good he was defensively. But Max Strus, his whole appeal was being a sharpshooter. Last season, it wasn't even like that lights out. And Duncan Robinson is back to being a 40% shooter. He's playing 28 minutes for them. They upgraded the point guard position from Kyle Lowry to Terry Rozier. Had a bad debut, though, but nice. This is his debut. He'll find his footing. Even made some small signings. Josh Richardson is on this team now. They found a great find in the draft in Jaime Jaquez Jr., willing and ready to contribute right away, giving you 14 points a game already. And I'm looking at some of these dudes in the playoffs. Caleb Martin starting to heat up, y'all. Caleb Martin, still a 40% shooter. I'm looking for some of these dudes. Haywood Highsmith. Remember these names, chat. Haywood Highsmith, Jovic. Remember some of these names. Jamal Cain. Look at these names that haven't played much, that are getting, 15, 18 minutes a game. Look at their efficiency. If the sample size might not be big on the volume side of things. But boy, they're going to give you 18 when you don't want them to. All right? So the Miami Heat, I'm going to give them a B. I think despite being a 6 seed after making it to the finals, I actually think they're having a better season than they're having last season. The New York Knicks, I'm gonna give them a B+. I don't have them as a championship contender. I'm still gonna stick to the fact that I don't think Jalen Brunson is a 1A, this, that, and the third, but I don't want to be on their dick too much. When push comes to shove, this is a team built around Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle. They found their duo. Jalen Brunson is having a phenomenal season, essentially putting up 27-7 on really good efficiency. Julius Randle, despite all the jokes, is having another great season as well. He has his woes in the playoffs, but there's a reason why he's been a perennial all-star for the last couple of years. Julius Randle is a big part of their success, and he's having a great regular season so far, right? They got OG Anunoby, who's been really good for them, giving them 15 points, 5 rebounds, 50, 40, 90 splits so far. I don't expect it to be like that the whole time, but that's what it is so far. They got a decent amount of depth as well. They got Dante DiVincenzo. They still got Josh Hart. They got Quentin Grimes. Mitchell Robinson is on the team. Isaiah Hartenstein is a great, bruiser off the bench. This team is really good. I think they're good enough to make it to the second round, and depending on how things go in the second round, you never know in the playoffs when it comes to injuries, when it comes to matchups. Because again, right now they're gonna face Cleveland again. It looks like if the standings don't move, which I expect them to move, but if they face Cleveland in the first round, that's on pace to play Boston in the second round. So if they play Boston in the second round, it might be But if they face Philadelphia 76ers, that's about it. If they face Philly in the second round, I think they can make it to the ECF. But I don't know. I just think this is a really solid team. Again, I don't have them having championship expectations, but this is a team that just wants a couple winning years to establish some sort of winning culture with their franchise, give New York fans good basketball for once after years of being so ass. And we'll worry about the future when it comes to there. But as of right now, Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle, you are our present. Let's build around you. And that's what they're doing. And I like what they're doing. And it's working out. So I'll give the New York Knicks a B plus, man. Shout out to the New York Knicks. The Cleveland Cavaliers. Shout out to the Cleveland Cavaliers because opposite of Orlando, they were a team that started off the season pretty rough, but have definitely picked it up. Being 10 games above 500 right now, racking up wins as of late. As you can see over their last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games, they are 8-1. Donovan Mitchell specifically has been going the fuck off. If we look at this stretch right here, hell, we can even go back here. Over the last 11 games, giving you 27, 8, and 5 on 48, 33, 84 splits. Man, Donovan Mitchell's been going, I don't know about the fuck off, but he's been going off. For me, I'm going to give them a B. This is right around where they should be. I think going into the season, this is actually exactly where they had them. I'm glad they picked it up because I ain't gonna lie, I was sure that Donovan Mitchell was about to leave this team with the way they were playing early in the season. But yeah, this is right around where they should be. I do still think their backcourt of Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell is shaky. Because from what I've seen, Darius Garland has been injured lately, from my understanding. And even when the times when Donovan Mitchell was out for a couple games, like, it seems like this team operates better when it's just one of them on the court. And that backcourt defensively too is very shaky between Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland when they're starting. So I don't think their young core is like that, to be honest with you. I know a lot of people were making a big fuss about their young core even just a year ago. I was never high on their young core like that. I think Donovan Mitchell, this is my Mickey take of the video. I don't see him retiring as a Cleveland Cavalier. I still do see him leaving. But yeah, this is one of the good teams in the East in my opinion, but I don't truly see them going further than the second round. You never know with the Celtics though. I don't know. Sort of got the Celtics are like the Cowboys of the NBA, but you never know with the Celtics. But if I just had to put a pin on it right now, I had them as a second round exit, which is what I had them going into the season. I'm gonna give them a B. They're not having a bad season. They're not having an astounding season. They're just there. And if you want to say that's a disappointment, given what they should be after they added Donovan Mitchell, then we can have discussions right there. But yeah, the Cavs are The Cavs are man. I don't know. They're like a good purgatory team, if that makes sense. I don't know. I don't really care about the Cavs. I'm sorry. The 76ers, I am going to give them an A+. Not A+. A+ is kind of dick suck. I'm going to give them an A-. Joel Embiid. And I find it so crazy how Jokic and Giannis and Embiid have found ways to improve from an MVP winning season so regularly. But after winning MVP last season, which, you can say whatever you want about Joel Embiid, but he still had a monster season last season. He found a way to be even better this season, dog. Going from 33 to 36 a game. 33 to 36 a game, right? And the efficiency is up, I wouldn't say across the board, but with the increase in volume, for your field goal percentage to only go down by 1, your 3-point percentage to go up with the volume going up, and then your free throw percentage, again, to go up with the volume going up, averaging more rebounds, more blocks, more steals, more assists, and you're winning. And you're winning. Because what is this? Right now, they're 29-13. That's a 70% winning percentage. 82 times 0.69. They're on pace to win 56 games. I think right now Joel Embiid is the clear MVP for me. Having a monster season. So shout out to Joel Embiid. Nick Nurse has definitely made a difference for this team. Tyrese Maxey replaced that James Harden role perfectly. I I don't know. Maybe it's fool's gold to some because of Joel Embiid's playoff track record, but I genuinely think this is Philly's best chance to win a championship since 2019. Genuinely. I really like the chemistry of this team. I think Joel Embiid is on a different level this season. And he has a chance to prove a lot of people wrong again. But he has a chance. So I'm gonna give them an A-. The Milwaukee Bucks, I'm going to give them I'm gonna give them a B+. I'm gonna give them a B+. I'm not gonna say they're having a bad season. But given the talent on this team and the combination of Dame and Giannis, they should be better. They as good as they are, they should be better. I personally had them being having the best record in the East going into the season, and I still think with what they've shown so far, they should be more dominant. But in actuality, that backcourt defense is just lacking. And with the firing of Adrian Griffin and the hiring of Doc Rivers, I did not like that move for them. I personally would have waited until the end of the season to make that sort of adjustment to the team, but I didn't like that season. I didn't like that move for them. And when push comes to shove, Dame is still having he's starting to pick it up, but he's still having trouble trying to fit into this role with Giannis. Dame is 25-7, but 43% from the field, 34% from three, 34, 35. The free throws are there, but I don't know, bro. I don't know. I think Dame could still be a little bit better. I'm gonna give them a B+. They definitely can be better as a team though. And they just haven't. If it's a coaching problem, then it is what it is. If it's a Dame problem, then it is what it is. But for me to give them an A-, A+ type of season, it would have to be like best record in the league, which they aren't. So the Boston Celtics, I'm gonna have to give them an A, solid A. Best record in the league, and I've held that mantle for a majority of the season. And when we talk about the weaknesses with this team and the problems with this team, we're talking about the cherry picks now. We're talking about problems that are going to exist in the playoffs, but for the season so far, I mean, again, best record in the league. Still only have one home loss. With the amount of moves that they made this offseason, how everything is gelling as soon as it is, with the addition of Drew Holiday, with the addition of Kristaps Porzingis, and with the removal of a Marcus Smart, of a Grant Williams, of a Rob Will, the chemistry is looking really, really good with this team. You know what I'm saying? Again, there's fair criticism with this team. This is not a perfect team whatsoever, but bro, I don't know how I'd put them anything lower than an A, to be honest with you. Maybe an A-, but yeah. Boston Celtics having a great season. Great, fantastic season. Moving over to the Western Conference. Let's get the easy ones out the way. The Memphis Grizzlies, I'm gonna give y'all a D-. I ain't gonna lie, Ja Morant ruined y'all season, bro. I don't want to say it, but the combination of what I saw this team was when Ja Morant came back from suspension, and I think he's out for the rest of the season, damn near. Bro, if Ja Morant played this season, I truly think y'all are a solid playoff team. But because of his suspension, that ruined the season. Y'all were too far back in the race to get back into the race because of the first 30 games of the season. Despite having the pieces that you guys have, Steven Adams was injured for the whole season as well. So that contributed to that as well. But yeah, it's an F for me. Portland, it's a F. D-. I wouldn't say F. Not it's a lesser of two evils, but I think y'all should move Jeremy Grant as soon as possible. Anthony Simons is having a great season as a 24-year-old. Scoot Henderson is starting to pick it up. He's still very inconsistent, but he is 19. Give him some time. This is a rebuilding team at the end of the day. And I don't expect much from this team. Just keep on rebuilding. So I'm going to give them a D-. The San Antonio Spurs, for this season, I'm going to give them a D. I'm going to give them a T. I genuinely think they're tanking on purpose. I don't think they're as bad as they actually are. All the attention has been on Vic and just how good he can be and how good he has been this season. But, yeah, I'm going to give them a D. I think they're tanking for a high, draft pick this upcoming draft. But, yeah, they could be better. I'm going to give them a D. The Golden State Warriors, given the talent on this team, I'm going to give them an F. 12 seed. I don't even think that's a play-in team, right? Because 10 is the cutoff for a play-in team. Outside of the play-in, the whole Draymond debacle has the problem with these debacles isn't just what they are in a vacuum, is because it takes the focus away from just focusing on basketball. And what Draymond has done this season has derailed the focus of this team. I'm going to just keep it a bean. I'm going to just keep it a stack. From the Warriors fans I know, and from the games I've seen as well, Steph Curry doesn't even look like he's trying for real. It seems like he's, zoned out this season. He's still putting up numbers, but I don't know. It just seems like he's coasting this season. Clay looks demoralized like crazy. Andrew Wiggins is looking like a bust again. Steve Kerr. People been looking for smoke for Steve Kerr, man. And this is definitely giving them more ammo. I'm gonna give them an F. Hey, Chris Paul's been injured. And again, whatever they thought Chris Paul was supposed to be for them just hasn't been that for them. So, yeah, I'm gonna give them an F. It's been a bad season for the Golden State Warriors, and I don't know, man. I think they gotta make some drastic moves this coming off season, and really decide what direction they need to go in, because are they just gonna ride out this Steph, Clay, and Draymond era until the wheels fall off, or are they gonna be realistic and pull a 2013 Celtics and offload their stars so that the Warriors fan base and franchise can have a better future? I think they're coming to that point. So I think they got to make a decision. The Houston Rockets, I'm gonna give their season a B. I'm gonna give them a B, bro. I'm gonna give them a B. A lot of people were very skeptical of the Houston Rockets in their offseason. When I hosted Who's the Casual, someone said that the Rockets had one of the better off seasons in the NBA. I think the reason why he got fucked was he said they had the best off season in the NBA. But when they signed Fred VanVleet and Dylan Brooks, a lot of people were looking sideways. Why'd they give so much money to those bums? But in actuality, I think it has helped the Houston Rockets. It has helped the Houston Rockets. This is a team with very young players that need more veteran leadership and need players that know how to win to teach them how to win. They also added Ime Udoka, or hired Ime Udoka as the coach for this team. Again, a coach who has experience of winning. He's made it to the finals, and has experience coaching up young dudes specifically to get to that point. So I really like the Rockets and what they're doing so far this season. This right here is the leap that I thought the Detroit Pistons were supposed to make, right? Nothing too crazy. Not up here, not even up here. Just an improvement from last season. And the Rockets have done that. So I'm going to give them a B. The Utah Jazz are so weird to me because I think they have a lot of good NBA players on their team. But I just don't know what they're doing, I haven't heard much about Walker Kessler this season. Keontae George is a young name for them, But aside from that, like, they don't really have that many like young assets for real, for real. And, you know, they got Jordan Clarkson, Lauri Markkanen on this team, Colin Sexton. And they're winning games because, again, I do think they have quality NBA players. But they're just kind of floating all over the place, you know. They're probably going to be a playing team this season. But what is the end goal? What is the direction of this franchise? I'm still kind of confused because they found, when they traded for Lauri, I don't think they expected him to be this good. But he is this good, you know. I don't know. Me personally, while the stock is high, trade Jordan Clarkson, bro. And Jordan Clarkson's stock is already going down, but trade a Jordan Clarkson, trade John Collins, trade Lauri Markkanen, trade these dudes. Keep Keontae George and Walker Kessler, and maybe THT, but, you know, while there's potential there, I would blow it up. Yeah, I'm gonna give them like a C plus. I'm gonna give them a C plus. The Los Angeles Lakers, I'm going to give them a D minus. I'm gonna give them a C minus. I'm gonna give D minus is kind of rough. I'm gonna give them a C minus. All things considered, they could be worse, and you know they are still in the playoff picture, the play-in picture. But this has been a disappointing season for the Los Angeles Lakers. The hamster class is not hamster classing. There's turmoil there with the whole D'Angelo Russell situation. People not feeling secure. People not liking what their roles are on the team. And again, Darvin Ham has been under a lot of fire this season. Rightfully so, but unrightfully so, because I said this in the last video. I just think Darvin Ham is the wrong coach for the wrong time. Not to say that Darvin Ham is a bad coach, but with the expectations that you have being led by LeBron and AD and being the Los Angeles Lakers, you need a guy who can deliver a championship, not a guy who needs 4 to 5 years to get to that point and be ready for that position. You need that guy that can do that right now, especially after you fired Frank Vogel, which I don't think they should have. But for the Lakers, I'm gonna give them a C minus. Could be worse. There's some trades that they can make and some adjustments that they can make to move up in these standings and be more competitive going into the playoffs. But I just don't know if Darvin Ham sees what he needs to do and will actually pull that trigger. And yeah, that's what I got for the Lakers. The Dallas Mavericks, 24-20. I am going to give them a B minus. This is exactly where I had them being. If anything, they're overachieving still. Even though early in the season they were actually closer to like the top 4 seeds in the West, they have definitely started to regress. But yeah, the Dallas Mavericks are exactly what I thought they'd be, man. The Luka and Kyrie show, and outside of that, shit gets shaky. Shit definitely gets shaky. Now, because of how good Luka and Kyrie be, oh shit, my bad. I didn't mean to do that. Because of how good Luka and Kyrie can be, you know, I still wouldn't want to face them in the playoffs because Luka is one of those dudes that can just solo squad you. Understand it's a team game, but boy, if you've ever seen Luka against the Clippers, he can solo squad you. But yeah, I don't know. This is right around where they should be. 24-20, a little bit above where they should be. So I'm gonna give them a B minus. I just think this is a poorly constructed team around Luka and Kyrie. More specifically around Luka, because I don't even think Kyrie is the dude that should be the second option to Luka, but it is what it is. You know, they tried to get a star for Luka, and these are the results. These are the results. So, Sacramento 24-18 after being the 3 seed last season. Doesn't look like they're gonna be the 3 seed again this season. Having a solid season though. I'm gonna give them a B. I'm gonna give them a B. I think the only reason why they aren't in these conversations is because other teams have improved with them. But in a playoff series, I would love to see them match up with any of these teams. Yeah, I'm gonna give them a B. Not too much on the Kings. I don't think they regress like crazy from last season. It's just, you know, the Thunder have skyrocketed. The Timberwolves have skyrocketed. Then the Denver Nuggets are the Denver Nuggets. The Clippers made some improvements this season. The Pelicans are actually healthy this season, or healthier than they were last season. So it's just the way that the conference is. But the Kings are having a good season. Next up, we got the Phoenix Suns, 26-18. I'm gonna give them a C+. I, going into the season, really thought that the Phoenix Suns were going to be a great regular season team. Any criticism that I had for this team came from a playoff perspective. Their lack of depth, their lack of rim protection, the injury problems, all of that. I thought that was going to come in the playoffs. Before this team, a lot of it has come through fruition in the regular season. Definitely thought they were going to be the 1 seed in the Western Conference, but Bradley Beal has barely been able to play. Devin Booker has had injury problems himself. KD has actually been the most consistent player on this team, but KD still has an injury history that I'm kind of shaky on, especially in playoff settings. So, yeah, I'm gonna give them a C+. Definitely still a team that, if you can avoid, I'd rather face the Dallas Mavericks than the Phoenix Suns. I'd rather face the Pelicans than the Suns because D-Book and KD are D-Book and KD. But yeah, I felt like they could be better, even with my criticisms of this team. The New Orleans Pelicans, surprise, surprise, have actually moved up a lot in the standings. I checked the standings yesterday, and it caught me to surprise that, oh my God, they're the 5th seed. they're the 5th seed. Definitely have caught a second wind over the last 20 games, it looks like, to be honest with you. Yeah, I don't want to count right now, but I'm seeing a lot of W's on the screen and not too many L's. I've always been high on this Pelicans team when everyone is healthy. I'm just keep it a stack. I've always been high. If Zion is healthy, if Brandon Ingram is healthy, if CJ McCollum is healthy, what this team is gonna look like. If JB is healthy, if Trey Murphy, if Herb Jones is healthy. And it looks like they're coming to a stretch in the season where everyone is starting to be healthy again, which I love, which I love. Zion definitely not having that dominant season that we're used to, but I also think the Pelicans are starting to come to the realization of what Zion is. And as a franchise, their coaching staff and everyone else, they're moving accordingly. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that they've fully given up on Zion, but they just understand that Zion isn't going to be the solo squad, top 5 player in the league moving forward, or at least that's not how they should move in the near future. And roles are being adjusted, and I think it's working out. The hierarchy is being better managed with this team, and it's working out. I'm glad to see that the Pelicans are doing good, because I think it'd be wasted talent if nothing came through fruition from the Zion and Brandon Ingram era for real. So hopefully this is a season where they actually be competitive. The LA Clippers, I'm gonna give them a B+, man. I'm gonna give them a B+. Had a lot of criticism for this team after they traded James Harden, but they've definitely picked it up. They found a defensive identity on the offensive end as well. Star powering, bro. Shout out to Russell Westbrook for helping in that hierarchy process, going over to the bench. I think now it's established that big three really is James Harden, Paul George, and Kawhi Leonard, and Russell Westbrook is a role player on this team. Those big four talks gotta stop. Bro. They've been balling. They've been balling lately. Not much to say. Again, if you look at a lot of W's. Kawhi Leonard has found or refound his footing in this season. Didn't have the best start to this season, but has definitely picked it up. Even though the season averages don't do his numbers justice, even if you look at the season averages, we're still looking at 24, 6, and 4 on damn near 50, 40, 90, shooting 44% from three. But more specifically, if we look at, let's just do this stretch right here. Yeah, the volume isn't there, but 52, 49, 88. These are insane splits. And if we go back even a little bit, and the Clippers have been winning. So prior to this 4-game outage right here in this stretch, this is when the volume was really voluming, right? 27.6 rebounds, 3 assists, 55, 43, 92 splits. So Kawhi Leonard is definitely back in those arguably top 5 discussions with the way he's been playing so far. Shout out to Paul George, because Paul George has just been, in my opinion, the rock for this team. You know what I'm saying? Paul George has never been in question for this team. He just does what's needed from him. And I love that for Paul George. And James Harden definitely adjusted to this team well. If you watch the first 4 games of the season with James Harden on this team, James Harden was definitely over-dribbling and not being as decisive as he could be on the offensive end. But from what I've seen so far, that problem is no longer. And on top of that, the role players have been very, very good for them. Zubac is giving you 12 and 10. Norman Powell is shooting 45% from the field. Terrence Mann is giving you good defense. Russell Westbrook is giving you a punch off the bench, and some added defensive punch off the bench as well. Daniel Tice was a decent picker for them. I'm not gonna gas it up too much, but a decent picker for them given their situation. But yeah, I really like what the Clippers have built. Is it gonna stand in the playoffs? We'll find out. But I said this when the James Harden trade happened. I genuinely think that the Clippers are what the Suns were supposed to be. If the Suns were built correctly around their big three. So, shout out to the Clippers. The Denver Nuggets. I'm going to give them a B+. I think, are they on pace to have a better season than last season? They might be. I personally thought they were a team that was going to regress a little bit this season. They were really going to miss Bruce Brown. And they still might in the playoffs. But this season, the defending champs are playing at a high level, and there really is not much to say to it. I think Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic specifically, I think they could be more dominant, but I also think they're pacing themselves in the regular season to, gear up for the playoffs. Even though these are still great numbers, like Jokic is still putting up damn near 26-point triple-double on really good efficiency, and Jamal Murray is still putting up 21 and 7 on close to 50, 40, 90 splits. But I think this is a team that's just pacing themselves for the playoffs and are on pace again to be one of the best teams going into the playoffs. MPJ has made improvements. Reggie Jackson off the bench has been great for them. Aaron Gordon is Aaron Gordon. KCP is KCP. Hell, even the DeAndre Jordans of the world have been really good for them off the bench. So, yeah, I really like what the Nuggets are doing so far this season. And there's nothing to worry about. For them. The Minnesota Timberwolves, A+ for the Minnesota Timberwolves. This was a team that a lot of people were willing to give up on relatively early because of how bad they played last season. A lot of motherfuckers hate Rudy Gobert. A lot of motherfuckers don't want to see Rudy Gobert succeed. A lot of motherfuckers don't like Cat as well, and the combination of the two and how they were working out, a lot of people were very, very willing to give up on this team. But yeah, they are now tied for the second best record in the league. They're tied for the best record in the Western Conference, and I've made a leap that I did not see them making this season, or honestly even ever. I thought the Timberwolves were going to be a team that for the next couple of years, if they end up having good seasons, would be around the 4 to 5 range, like what the Pelicans and the Clippers and the Suns are doing. But best in the conference good, I did not see that. And even if they were going to get to that point, I did not see that with Cat being on this team. Ant being on this team, I could see it. But the way they constructed it, I just didn't see it, man. But the way things are looking so far for them, they are a very, very well-rounded team. Very, very well-rounded team, being led by their star, Anthony Edwards. Karl Anthony Towns, despite all the criticism, is having a great season. Great season. We're looking at 23, 8, and 3 from him. Has really embraced that forward position as well. Shooting 44% from 3, 89% from the line. Rudy Gobert, monster on the glass, one of the best rim protectors in the league. I want to say anchoring, but still an integral part to the best defense in the league. Are they still the best defense in the league? Yeah, the best defense in the league. They got really good role players in Jaden McDaniels, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Kyle Anderson, Naz Reid, Mike Conley on the team. This is just a very, very, very well-rounded team. Very well-coached team as well. Is this the year? I still don't see it. But when you actually think about it, it's not like they don't got like good vets on the team. You know what I'm saying? Like Mike Conley's right there, Kyle Anderson's there, Gobert is a vet in the league at this point. Cat is 28, so it's not like this is a young team. So it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting how this team that has experience but is being led by a 22-year-old will perform in the playoffs. But we will see. We will see. And last but not least, the Oklahoma City Thunder. It's an A+. It is also an A+ for me, man. Also an A+ for me. Again, like I said earlier, I thought the leap that they were going to take this season will be closer to what Orlando was doing. Will be closer to, what's the West equivalent? Hell, even the Pelicans, right? Like right around here. But for them to be as competitive and as good as they have been off rip is crazy. It is insane. Shea, shout out to Shea, bro. Establishing himself as a tier 1 point guard in the league. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion, he is in that class with Luka, with Steph Curry, and him. There's a clear separation between Shea and a De'Aaron Fox and a Tyrese Halliburton and, all these other Jalen Brunson. Shea is a level above them. He is an MVP caliber player. And honestly, despite my takes about a point guard not being able to win with a point guard leading the helm, Shea and Luka, they are the chances to be the exception to that rule. Primarily because, number one, they're tall point guards, and number two, they're not Luka, but Shea is actually good defensively. So Shea's that guy. Chet as a rookie, we already know his conversation with the Rookie of the Year race. I would lean towards Wemby, but hey, Chet is having a phenomenal rookie season. 17-7 out the gate, 2.6 blocks, 54, 39, 78 splits. J-Dub is having a great sophomore season. 19 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds. We just reacted to a video of Alex Hoops believing that he is a hidden superstar for this team. For real. And the numbers back it up. Great role players on this team. They got Lou Dort. They got the Isaiah Joes of the world. You know what I'm saying? Jalen Williams coming off the bench. Let's see who else. Cason Wallace as well. As much as I don't want to give him credit, Josh Giddey is a decent role player for this team. I think they should move on from Josh Giddey for other reasons. Not even related to his case, to be honest with you. But it's just a great team. My biggest concern with this team is just the lack of experience. Them being this good this soon, going into the playoffs without any experience together in a playoff setting, without any vets, I think ultimately that's what's going to hold them back. But definitely a team ahead of the curve. And that's a great problem to have. I'd rather have that problem than other problems. So the Oklahoma City Thunder, A+. One of the teams that, one of the cores that a lot of people were high on and is actually proving themselves to be worth that hype. Unlike a New Orleans Pelicans, unlike, in my opinion, the Cleveland Cavaliers. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, that is me grading every single team's regular season at the halfway point. If y'all like this video, leave a like on the video. If y'all didn't, that's fine. Keep it pushing, man. Follow me on Twitch. I'll be streaming on Twitch. And with that being said, I am out, man. Peace.